Beer Tip of the Week is brought to you by thebeerian.com, the first and only blog focusing on Christians who love beer.
Hey, I'm Brian. I'm a Christian and I love beer, and I'll be watching Beer Tip of the Week.
Beer, 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 beer. Welcome to Beer Tip of the Week. My name's Greg Qualls and I'm your host. Beer Tip of the Week is designed for the person out there who wants to do more than just drink their beer, but enjoy their beer drinking experience. Each week I bring you a simple tip to help you improve your beer drinking experience. This week I'd like to share with you a simple tip that will help you improve that first time you catch the aroma of your beer. This tip actually piggybacks off of last week's tip as far as how to taste your beer. This is a little improvement that you can add to your beer tasting process to help you smell the beer better. From everything I've read and understood, your mucous membrane in your nose actually has a memory to it. So whenever you smell the beer for the first time, that's basically like a first impression whenever you meet somebody. It stays there for a long time. So we want to make that first smell of your beer the best it possibly can be. So in order to do that, we're going to use one of these. Okay, before we get into the actual tip, I had a request from one of you guys out there to share what beers I'm using each week. To be honest with you, for the first 3 episodes, I used the same beer for all 3. I shot them on the same day and just used the same beer that was in my fridge. And at that time, it happened to be J.W. Dundee's Honey Brown Lager. I recommend this one if you're a lager guy like me. I'm a lager guy, not in the sense of wearing flannel t-shirts, but in the sense of the type of beer. But Honey Brown, it's really nice. It's a smooth flavored as far as that goes. It's not too hoppy. So I like it. It's just a good overall drinking beer. But since this week we're talking about getting the first impression of a beer as far as smells go, I decided to get a beer that I've never tried before. So I went to the local liquor store and I walked around and picked out Gonzo Imperial Porter. This is made by Flying Dog Brewery in Denver, Colorado. I have no idea what this tastes like, have no idea what it smells like. I'll actually leave a link in the show notes to the company with more information if you guys want to find out about this beer in particular. But one thing I have to say that I like about this beer and this brewery so far is just their packaging. The beer itself, as far as design goes on there, it's got this really retro grungy look on it, which I really like. But the main thing I like the most is on their boxes right here. And as we zoom in, you can see in the bottom left hand corner here that the beer here, that it has this little guide here to tell you how light or dark the beer is. So it gets next there. But the other thing I like is it tells you how malty or hoppy the beer is. So this one you can tell just by this guide here that it's a darker beer, but it also has more of a malty flavor to it. So I like that as far as this goes. And well, let's get into this and show you how to get the best first impression of the aroma of your beer. So here's your tip. I already showed you a coaster. These are just one of the cheap cardboard coasters that you get at any bar whenever you go out, or to any restaurant most of the time too. What you're going to do in order to get that good first sense of the aroma of the beer is you're going to pour your beer into a glass. Normally I do it about halfway full for this, and I'll tell you why in a second. You'll place your coaster on top, you'll agitate the beer, let it sit for just a few seconds, like 2-3 seconds. And what this does is it traps all the aroma up in the top. That's why I don't fill the beer all the way up to the top, because you don't have space for the aroma to gather. So leave space there for the aroma to gather, and then at that point you're going to exhale, of course, and then lift your top and take that very first whiff of the beer. So let's open up one of these Flying Dogs and try this out. Another quick tip, just to throw it in here, if you drink a lot of beer, as you get into it, something that will make your life a lot easier is buy one of these keychain beer bottle openers. My wife got me this one for Christmas, so it just helps out a lot. So we're going to go ahead and open up this beer, pour it in, and since we're only going halfway, I'm just going to pour straight to the middle, let that gather. Oh, that's a nice dark caramel beer. I'm going to enjoy this one. And I probably poured way too much head on this. This is going to take like 5 hours. Hopefully I can speed this up. So apparently with porters, I didn't realize this. If you just pour straight in, you're going to get a huge thick head, which you have to wait to dissolve for a while. So what I did was I went ahead and put the coaster on the top of this, and it has been catching all that wonderful aroma in there, ready for the first smell. I haven't smelled it. I really can't get a sense of it as far as smells go, so we're going to see here. We're going to agitate. Wow, that just got the huge thick head on there. We're going to agitate. This is fun. And then, of course, exhale. And then lift up and smell. Smells good. I mean, honestly, it doesn't have like a very strong smell as far as beers go. I don't smell a whole lot of hops, which from the label we realize it probably wouldn't have that. But it does have a nice deep smell to it that I like so far. Other than that, we'll go ahead and go into the tasting process, and that's where you go in and do the taste process that I taught you guys last week. So, that's your simple tip. If you weren't using the porter, it probably wouldn't have a huge head and you wouldn't have to wait as long. But pour your beer about halfway full, put the coaster on top, swish it around, and smell. Okay, so that's been your beer tip of the week. I don't necessarily like Gonzo Imperial Porter, but to each his own. It's just got a really strong flavor for me. I'm more of a laid-back kind of guy, so really strong flavors don't necessarily stand out well to me. But if you're a porter guy or a dark beer guy, definitely check this out. You're going to love it. So, like I said, that's your beer tip of the week. If you have any tips that you'd like to share with us, you can send them to tips@thebeerarian.com. That's tips@thebeerarian.com. And I'd love to share them here on the beer tip of the week. Other than that, my name is Greg Qualls. I'm your host. And remember, whether you eat or drink, do it all to the glory of God. And I'll see you next time. Normally I take a drink of beer right now, but I'm not going to drink another one of this. This tip actually pick a We're still waiting. We're still waiting. Okay, so let's try this. Oh, that's disgusting.